Alright, so this video we're going to talk briefly about defragmentation and optimization. Dun dun dun. Alright, so first, what is defragmentation? So overall, as your computer's writing files, it sequentially writes them. So it takes a piece of your hard drive and it goes, okay, new file, write it here, new file, write it here, new file, write it here, new file, write it here. And it puts them one after the other. And all the files are different sizes. So you got big and small and little and tiny and huge and everything else in between. Alright. And that's not a problem. However, over time, as we fill our hard drives up and we delete things, we fill our hard drives up and we delete things, and we go back and forth with this, all of your files might not be all grouped together in one nice consecutive line, all right? Because you might not have had enough space to put your file in this nice consecutive line. So what your computer does is it writes the first part of it in section A, and the second part in section B, and the third part in section E, and until all of a sudden you have your file spewed across all different ports of your hard drive. Which in theory makes it a little bit slower to open that hard drive because it has to go read all those different sections from all those different places, so that it actually has to seek or go find them. All right. What defragmentation does is it takes all of those fragments and it basically writes them back in a nice singular line to make your life easier. Not your life easier, really the hard drive's life easier. So it goes through and it says, okay, there's an issue here, there's an issue there, and it just basically starts writing them into larger blocks. And what causes those holes that your hard drive is filling up is you deleting files. So defragmentation, in theory, gets rid of all those random size holes and random parts of files and makes them one cohesive file again. And this used to be something that you'd have to do monthly, yearly, whatever it was on your computer that you decided to do. And it took a long time, type of thing that you just like hit start and run at night and walk away and come back in the morning, and your whole disk would be defragged. And that was with small hard drives. Well, now that we're running multiple terabyte hard drives in many computers, that would take ages. Now, luckily, Windows has taken this burden off of us of having to do it ourselves, and it actually now does it in the background for you. So what I have open here is our optimized drives, piece of software that comes with Windows. And overall, defragging is an essential tool for tuning your hard drive for better performance. All right, this does only apply to mechanical drives. All right, and we don't want to do it with SSDs because they do have a life cycle, a wear cycle, and the more we wear on them, the more they get beat up, the quicker they're going to die. So we don't want to purposely reorganize things. Because it's also electronic, we're not having anything physically move, it's still quick enough to access all of our parts of those files, even if they're not all together. So this really only applies to traditional hard drives. So in this optimized drive window, you can see we have actually two buttons, optimize and analyze. And with the C drive, I have analyze is grayed out. And that's because, as it says in the media type, it's a solid state drive. So we don't want to analyze that. Now, my D and my E drive do both say they are 0% fragmented, so that means Windows is doing its job. All right, if we actually look at the bottom of the window that's open down here, you can see that our scheduled optimization is on, and they're being optimized weekly. So once a week, or however often it can within that week time frame, that probably once a week, it is going through and actually cleaning those hard drives up for me. Now we can change those settings, so we could do weekly, we could do whatever. This does say increase task priority if the consecutive schedule runs are missed. So it's supposed to do it one week, your computer's off, so it can't do it. Maybe the next week it goes, hey, this is more important. And then the next week it goes, hey, this is even more important, if you always have your computer turned off at that point. To the point where it's going to choose when to run them. And you guys couldn't really see that, can you? So there we can go. So we can choose which drives we're going to do. So my point, I'm saying, hey, optimize all my drives and any new drives that get plugged in. On that note, let's see what happens if I plug in my external SSD. Is that going to pop up there? Okay, so let's go ahead and open up my optimize defrag. Nope, still not showing up. So it's not going to do portable drives, it seems. These are only all ones that are installed in your computer. All right. So anyway, I can still analyze my hard drive. So if I hit analyze, you'll see, and it runs so stinking quick. There we go. If I do this one, same thing. It's quick going through and looking to make sure there's not any major fragmentation issues, and it's going, yep, you're good. If there are, it would go through the process of unfragging them. Now this is a processor I don't know about intensive, but it's going to use some processing power. That's also going to make it so to the point where you shouldn't be using your hard drive for anything real at that point. So since these are my data drives, it's not really that big of a deal if they would be optimizing or being fragmented or defragged while I'm using my computer. But my C drive would be. Now luckily I can't defrag that. We can optimize that though, and if we actually hit that, you'll see it says trimmed. It says it went so quick, but it was saying trimmed. All right. And the trim command is reducing the amount of data an SSD needs to move during the garbage collection process, which reduces the amount of erase cycles, enabling the drive to last longer. So trimming is basically telling the hard drive, hey, we don't need these things anymore. When you do optimize and do your garbage collection to get rid of all the stuff that we don't care about, go ahead and just delete this. Don't move it, just ignore it, just write over it, and it will all be fine. So optimization and analysis is something that you are going to want to do. Make sure you do have scheduled. This is something I believe Windows 10 does schedule by default, but some people might have disabled it, and I'd highly suggest that if you have, you go ahead and re-enable that.